I've been a weaver since my apprenticeship ended at the 21 years of age. Before then I was a draw boy for my father, who taught me all the skills of this proud craft. I have a brother in one of the dioceses by the river, and my mother and elder sisters all work in the spinning mill.
I started working as a draw boy when I was 9 and worked 6 days a week from 6 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. On Sundays I go to Sunday school, and I'm pleased to say I can read a little. I draw the beams of the loom to help the weaver make the pattern from the different colour yarns, and I pull the threads of new yarn from the bobbins into the loom.
I married into one of the rich carpet-owning families, and now, as the master of several carpet loom shops, I count myself one of the most prosperous masters in Kidderminster. I'm a civic councillor, and they've even promised to name a street after me.
I work for Timothy Lloyd in his weaver's loom shop in Church Street. Each week we are given a new job by the master, which has to be finished by the next full day. If it's not done, we don't get paid at all. So sometimes we work all night to finish on time.
Fall day, either Thursday or Saturday, is when we allow the finished carpet length to fall from the loom, get it inspected and measured by the master, and hopefully get paid. But before that, I'll have to clip all the loose threads and shear the cut pile evenly. That's the part I hate.
The 4 shillings a week I get paid by the weaver doesn't go very far. I eat dry bread for breakfast and tatties be salt for dinner.
I know my craft, and I work hard. Each week the boy and I can weave a good 25 yards of Wilton carpet, 3/4 of a yard wide, and I get a shilling a yard length for my toils. Out of that comes the rent from my house, the loom, coal and candles, and pay for the draw boy. So I'll have maybe 12, 15 shillings left in my pocket, and that has to feed and clothe my family until next fall day. Fat chance of me ever having money enough to buy one of my own carpets.
All they do is spend it on ale and bets on fighting of some kind. Dogs, cocks, even bare knuckle with each other. The weavers don't deserve any better. And they're constant complaining about the hours they work. 16 hours a day is perfectly normal in this day and age.
I'll be damned if I'm accepting these rates of pay. Look at how comfortable the masters are in their handsome mansions, with servants and all. They're lining their pockets at our expense, and we weavers can hardly afford to put food on the table. Things got so desperate last week that I helped myself to several pockets full of yarn to sell in the alehouse. Some weavers will even steal the end of another's carpet to sell.
In the butt sounds a band of weavers returning from a weavers' committee meeting. The leaders tried to curb the more turbulent spirits, but the mob were having none of it. Mr. Cooper stood at the gate of his mill with an iron bar, threatening the mob if they tried to force an entrance. Stones were thrown at the windows of the factory. We boys did our share. Then the mob broke through.
After ransacking the mill, we moved on to Mr. Brinton's house and disturbed the party of masters we found gathered there, but our quarrel alerted the magistrates and watchmen, who engaged in a melee of fisticuffs with us. Then the bailiff, spectacles on nose, began to read the Riot Act.
The town's inhabitants have pressed Sir Robert Peel to provide sufficient military force to prevent further instances of these disgraceful and riotous proceedings. Some of the weavers' leaders have been sent to Worcester Jail, and all the carpet masters, including myself, are standing together to fix the rates of pay for the weavers' piecework at a commercially profitable level.
At least I have a job, unlike the many wretches in the countryside. The town is booming. Nearly 20,000 people, it's been said, and rightly known as the most important centre of carpet manufacture in the country.
We've had orders to carpet the entire House of Commons and many of the aristocracy's grand houses. We've put together a display of all the best Kidderminster handcrafted designs at the Great Exhibition for the Queen, Prince Albert and the world's royalty to see. The Kidderminster weave, Brussels, Wilton, tapestry and chenille Axminster. And very fine it is too.
The Weavers' Committee are warning us about job losses. Look at how the Lancashire cotton mills and their huge steam-powered looms have thrown all the skilled cotton workers into poverty. But the masters won't listen. So what can we do?
Henry Brinton and I watched Erastus Bigelow's steam-powered loom at the Great Exhibition. but I cannot see it as a serious threat to traditional handlooms. John Crossley in Halifax has purchased one, but I don't expect he'll be making much impact on Kidderminster's fortunes.